the UK has announced it's to offer further help to Ukraine after that huge dam in the south of the country was destroyed. Major evacuations now underway. The Ukrainian authorities blaming the Russians for the explosion. The European Council saying it clearly qualifies, in their view, as a war crime. Well, cities, towns and villages in the region now facing significant flooding with mass evacuations underway. Ukraine's foreign ministry calling for an urgent meeting of the UN Security Council, claiming the attack the result of a Russian terrorist incident. The Kremlin should face new international sanctions, they say. And in terms of the situation on the ground, President Zelensky's office saying the Dnipro River, which flows from the dam, now contaminated with some 150 tons of industrial lubricants. The river itself, of course, providing and the reservoir much of the drinking water for Crimea. Well, let's get more now with former senior military intelligence officer Philip Ingram, who can join us. And Philip, just to reiterate what Europe's stance is on this, they see this as civilian infrastructure, no military connection at all with this dam being attacked.
It is, but it's interesting. The Russians are blaming the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are blaming the Russians. And I've just read a report from someone who's a structural engineer saying that there could have been damage that started last year, where there had been Ukrainian shelling at the end of October, early November, and then the Russians blew up the road going over the top of the dam in November. And then there's been fluctuating water levels on the other side of it, where it's been badly managed and could have exacerbated any structural defects that were put in there. So we I don't think are completely clear as to who's behind it or whether it was that had been caused by previous damage.
However, well, let's just reflect on the pictures that we've got. These pictures showing what does seem to be a huge explosion. The picture goes white. We can then see a mushroom cloud. I mean, that appears not to be a rupture, but an explosion of some kind. And one wonders why the Ukrainians themselves would try and blow up their own dam, knowing what damage it would do downstream.
Oh, exactly, and this is where if I hadn't seen those pictures, the Russians have got more to gain from it. What is interesting that they hadn't withdrawn their forces that are in the floodplain, that are in defended positions, so they may have lost a lot of equipment as they try to get their forces out in doing that. So maybe they hadn't expected what's happened. But from a Russian perspective, what it's doing is it's protecting a large part of the front line from any Ukrainian incursions across. And the Ukrainians for the last few months have been sending small boat incursions of special forces across the Dnipro down in the Kherson area to try and operate in the rear areas of the Russian defences that are there. This incident will have stopped them from doing that, and therefore allow the Russians to concentrate on a smaller area of front line that there could be the Ukrainian counteroffensive on. Not that the Ukrainians would ever have been able to get a major military force across what is a significant obstacle.
Well, indeed, I was going to say it is like a military front line, isn't it, trying to breach such an enormous river. And one wonders whether there was that in the Russian mindset in terms of setting this off. But I guess the other aspect, as we saw back in the Dam Busters raid, of course, in the Second World War, it ties up all sorts of other resources in dealing with the aftermath.
Oh, very much so. And dealing with the immediate implications. The biggest worry is the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, and making sure that the cooling water can go into there. Most of the reactors, I understand, have been shut down, but they still require additional cooling water to come in and stop them getting into a dangerous position.